Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CSTV. I'm your host, Kathleen Igaltoto, Madam CS, and this is the Women Warriors of Africa's Independence. Stay tuned and have a true and thrill. Kindly remember to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. In today's discussion, we are going to look at MEKATILILI Menza. And the question is, who is MEKATILILI Menza? Where was she born? How was she brought up? And what was her contribution towards Kenya's search for self-governance or for political freedom? So, join me and let's have this discussion. MEKATILILI Menza was a Giriama woman from the coastal part of Kenya. She was born in 1980s, at the time when actually Europe was partitioning Africa for colonies. And she was the only girl in a family of 5 children. MEKATILILI's father was actually a trader, a business person, and many times MEKATILILI escorted the father to the market in Mombasa. And one important or one significant occurrence happened in one of the business trips. His brother was kidnapped by the Alaf slave traders. Remember that the coastal part of Kenya was among the towns where slave trade was done. The exchange of slaves for other commodities was done. So in one of those episodes, MEKATILILI's brother was kidnapped by the Alaf slave traders, and he was never to come back. So MEKATILILI started developing hatred towards the white people, and as a child he couldn't tell who is white and but not a European, who is white but not an Arab, So by the time the colonialists came to Kenya, that is the British came to Kenya to colonize the country, already MEKATILILI had developed some cold blood or negative blood towards people of white color, or towards people of white race. But it is important to note that MEKATILILI Menza was never called MEKATILILI Menza at birth. She was called Munyanzi Menza. She only gained the name MEKATILILI after giving birth to her son Tilili. So the son was called Tilili. So they decided to call her the mother of Tilili. MEKATILILI just means the mother of Mecca, the mother of. So MEKATILILI is the mother of Tilili. So that's how she gained her name, MEKATILILI Menza. Now, going forward, MEKATILILI's encounter with the British people and his role in the political independence of this country, or the political freedom of this country, which is the main focus of actually these series. By the time the British came into the country, MEKATILILI was actually getting old. It was getting old, and at that particular time too, she had gotten married and lost her husband. So she was a widow when the British invaded Giriamaland in their process of colonizing Kenya. MEKATILILI was a widow of around 70 years, and she remembered the fact that she lost her brother to the white people. And then she also remembered a prophecy by one of the prophetess in among the Giriama, who was called Mepeho. Mepeho has prophesied, and I'm meant to understand that you people, you've had a glance of like different communities had prophetess in Africa, all prophets who had told them about people will be coming. The white people in Africa's myths have been prophesied differently. So Mepeho has prophesied of the white people who could come and take control over Giriamaland, and why people should rise and fight them. So when MEKATILILI Menza saw the British come, take their sons to the plantation agricultures, take their sons for migrant labor, take away people's land, replace their subsistence agriculture with sisals and etc. She knew exactly that this is what Mepeho has prophesied that has come to pass. And therefore she felt like, no, these people should not be allowed to take over our land. And remember, I'm talking about an old widow of about 71 years old. Now, at the time this was happening, in the 19th century, honestly, Mekatilili didn't have the power, the societal power, to approach the elderly and tell them, we need to go and fight. But one thing that she knew, that as a widow among the Giriama community at that particular time, she had an opportunity to meet the elders and share with them over some few things. So she exploited that opportunity. And she knew that as a widow, she could be listened. So she explained that opportunity and approached the clan elders together with a medicine person called Wanche. And he told them why they needed to rise and mobilize the young men and young boys in the village to fight for the community's independence. And as I told you, is that, when the British people came in Kenya, different communities reacted differently. We had those that passively resisted, and we had those that actively resisted. Among the Giriama, these were the active resistors, among the active resistors. So when she told Wanche that, and the other clan elders, that they needed to mobilize people to fight against the colonialists, it is so surprising that Wanche and the clan elders accepted what she said. So from there henceforth, Mekatilili Menza had again to devise ways. She's just a woman who is very old. How is she going to mobilize people now towards the fight of the Mzungu, or the white person who has come? The British, they have come, they are heavily militarized, they have sophisticated weapons. How is he going to mobilize the village boys and the people to fight this young person? It's called the power of a woman, and Mekatilili Menza demonstrated it. Among the Giriama again, a widow was supposed to conduct something called the Kifundu Dance. So she knew that if she performed that dance, the Kifundu Dance, then it could attract onlookers, because it is a dance that was associated with sending away the spirit of the dead. Now that the husband had died, as a widow, she was obliged to do that. And what Mekatilili did is that she kept on dancing the Kifundu, doing the Kifundu dance. And people could be worried, what's wrong with this old woman beating drums all over the village, all over the towns? And the dance attracted onlookers. And these onlookers later could be Mekatilili Menza's followers. So when the people came together, she could tell them why she's beating that Kifundu dance. Not because somebody has died, not because she's over mourning the husband, but because she wants them to rise against the British administrators and the colonialists in the country. So in one occasion, Mekatilili Menza was actually giving his daily mobilization or lectures to the people and why they should fight the colonialists. That was on the 15th of August 1913. Then Champion Arthur, or other champion, the British administrator that particular time in the coastal part of Kenya, interrupted her meeting. And started to give the directions from the colonial administration of what was expected of the young people, the way they could be taken to over labor, the way they should be able, discarding the traditional Giriama culture, way of living, and etc., and bringing in a new norm. Now, in that particular case, it was expected that by that particular time, at that particular age, Mekatilili could have ran away and leave Ata Champion the space to continue addressing the people. But this woman didn't run away. She stood still and confronted Ata Champion. That she even slapped this white person. And this made MEKATILILI Menza among the first black women to raise a hand on a white man. And you know, this is something that the men who were present could not dare to. It is something that the men who were present didn't even think of doing. So after this episode, MEKATILILI was to follow Ata Champions to his office with a mother hen. Perhaps you have seen MEKATILILI Menza's statue combined with a hen with chicks. Now this is where that statue finds its origin. After this confrontation, MEKATILILI Menza followed Champion Arthur to his office. And then he had a mother hen with her. And this mother hen, he also carried the chicks of this mother hen in a bag. So when she reached this office, she told Ata Champion, this is the hen and these are the chicks. Touch those chicks. I understand you all know if you touch the chicks of a hen, especially when they are small, the way the mother hen can really jump onto you. So when Ata Champion dared touch the chicks, the mother hen rose, jumped onto Ata Champion's face, and then MEKATILILI Menza told Ata Champion, this is what I will do to you if you continue to recruit our young boys to your plantation agriculture, to you continue erosioning our culture. I will stand firm as the mother hen of the Griama people. Instead of confronting MEKATILILI Menza, Ata Champion took out a gun and shot dead the mother hen that attacked him. You know, it beats logic that a whole man could just kill a hen which is defenseless. And here stood the woman who had challenged him into that particular challenge. So 2 days later, MEKATILILI Menza was arrested because for a long time, the British didn't know that the kind of resistance they were facing from the Griama people was because of the preachings and the mobilization of this old woman. But now that they knew, 2 days later, MEKATILILI Menza, 2 months later, MEKATILILI Menza in October was arrested together with Wanche, the medicine man. And in the arrest, you know, these are 2 old people you are arresting, eh? So they were taken from the coast part of Kenya, which is warmer. They were taken to Kisii prisons, and Kisii is on the western side of Kenya, and it's somehow colder compared to the coast. So by doing so, the British administration thought that these people cannot survive the cold climate there, they will die. But allow me to tell you that that one did not happen, because MEKATILILI Menza, after 5 months in the prison, on the 20th of April 1914, they escaped the prison. And I will tell you how their escape from prison was possible. It was possible because where they were, the military people, all the prison wardeners, couldn't mind taking the energy to look after or to watch old people who are to die soon. So in that way, they were not so much guarded like the other prisoners. And secondly, you know, we have this aspect, like in the traditional African setup, we place a lot of respect and value on our grand people, like the older people, because we believe that is the only way we can be able to get respect, and you know, they come with blessings, treating them well, you know. So the prison warden couldn't find it hard to give in to some of the liquors that MEKATILILI Menza made. And they were normally allowed. MEKATILILI and the Wanje could converse in Giriama on Sundays after Mass, after the church, because it is documented that they used to go to church. You know, colonialism and missionary had, like, they were combined in a way in Africa. So it is in one of in this of conversations of Sundays, conversations, that they hatched a plan on how to run from the prison. And the escape was like this. MEKATILILI Menza say that she was going to the, they say they are going to the toilet. And remember, these are people who are in two different cells, the men's section, the women's section. They say they are going to visit the washrooms. And you know, the guards couldn't mind an old person going out for a washroom, you know, so they went. But they never came back. So even when they did not come back, the prison wanderers were like, these two, even if they went away, they cannot even reach in the coastal part of Kenya, because they will die along the way. It's over 1,000 kilometers. They cannot be able to walk. They will die along the way, or they will be eaten by wild animals in the forest. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Along the way, MEKATILILI Menza received the hospitality together with Wanche from people, from villagers. Because, you know, the African culture is a culture of hospitality, especially towards our old people. So after several months of walking in that forest, they made their way to the coastal part of Kenya. And when MEKATILILI Menza came to the coastal part of Kenya and arrived home, she really wanted now the really war to begin. But she initiated a war which she didn't actually stay to witness happen, because few weeks later she was rearrested. But the war she initiated, because when she came from the prison, she was more than determined now to confront the white man forever. So she said the young men in the village, the children, to dig trenches. You know, she really cooked the war enough that by the time she was rearrested, the war was at its climax of erupting. And she was rearrested and taken to Kampala, Uganda, where she stayed. And then when she returned back, she found that the British had destroyed the Giriama Kayas, and she reordered the rebuilding of the Giriama Kayas. So the Kayas that we have in the coastal part of Kenya are not the traditional Kayas. These are the Kayas that were peeled after MEKATILILI Menza came from prison the second time. And you know, in this fight that she cooked and was arrested before she could witness these white men being beaten, all go into a match with the Africans, the British found the Giriama so much stubborn, and as a result they decided to move up the coast. Like, they couldn't take much of the energy and time in the Giriama land, because the Giriamas had proved to be hostile, to be stubborn, and therefore were not the right people or the right environment where the British could even set its administration. So today, MEKATILILI Menza could die in 1924 out of a natural cause. And she died knowing that she actually fought for the Giriama's reparation at that particular time. Even when the world has not thought about, let's drive away the white men out of the country, she had the idea that they needed their freedom. So today, MEKATILILI Menza's statue is made in a way that she is wearing the Kifundu attire plus a mother hen with her chicken. And this statue is just to let you know the kind of woman she was, using her Kifundu Dance to protect the Giriama people. In the coastal part of Kenya celebrates the Kifundu's festival, and where they celebrate MEKATILILI Menza. And in 2020, if it's not in 2019, Google decided to celebrate MEKATILILI Menza using the Google Doodle. So that is Mekatilili Menza, and she is the first woman in our African woman warriors in Africa's independence. I hope that you have learned something about Mekatilili Menza, and just remember that before even we talk about the period after 1945, we have a lot of rich history before, right from 1901 up to 1920, that talks about primary resistances and the role that women played in it. I hope that you have learned about Mekatilili Menza, the Griama mother hen, the Griama fighter, the Griama protector. And we meet next time as I take you to Gusii Land, Kenya, where we'll be looking at Muraha Niti. Stay tuned and have it raw and real.